I would like to welcome everybody to our show. We're really excited tonight to have our 13th virtual house party with Marvin Zachow. Marvin is a traditional fiddler who plays both traditional and old-time music, so we're excited to hear what he has to play tonight. He's been playing music for more than 40 years, and he switched to fiddle about 20 years ago. He's a founding member of the Iron Kettle String Band, Unclaimed Freight, the Boys from the Blue Hill, and has been in the lead in the Stoddard Hollow String Band, which we've had on our stage at the Coffee House before. He has 2 recorded CDs, Spring Thaw and Mountain Girls, which the music from that was chosen for the soundtrack for a documentary, The Righteous Rebellion by Bruce Kennedy, which was filmed here in the Catskills and in Delaware County, which is really cool. He can be found playing at concerts and weddings and brew pubs all around, eventually when we can get back out into the world. But we're really excited to have him here tonight. There'll be a tip jar that comes up during the show. Feel free to send some tips his way. And we're excited to have you, Marvin. Welcome.
Okay, Marvin, you actually have to go up to your screen and unmute yourself. But yes, there you go.
Thank you so much. We're in? I don't know if I'm in yet or not. I still see somebody else there.
Yep, you're good. You're good to go.
Okay. I got my sound girls right on it. Or sound person, as they say. Well, thanks everybody so much for coming. It's so strange for me, you know, because when usually we're playing music, I'm up on the stage and there's microphones and I got a bunch of guys behind me that are just ready to play. And we just usually tear into everything we do and just keep it going until they tell us we have to stop. But once I was asked to do this, I've been trying to think about and trying to put together a program that it just shows where my music has been and where it's going and what I've learned through the years and what I like to listen to and what I like to play. I'm gonna jump right into it, and then afterwards I will, after I play a tune or two, then I'll talk about the tunes themselves. Now that tune there was a tune we brought back from West Virginia. We learned it down there, and it originally came from the playing of a fiddler by the name of Ernie Carpenter. And it was called the Elk River Blues. Now he wrote that tune after he was feeling rather melancholy when they were doing a thing called mountaintop removal to get at the coal. And when they took off a mountaintop, they had to put it somewhere. And where they happened to put it was they dammed up the Elk River. And unfortunately, in damming up the Elk River, it flooded his family farm, and that's why he wrote that tune. And as soon as I heard that, I knew it was a tune that I was going to have to play. Now here's a little New England tune, or it's from the British Isles, but the guy that taught me how to play the fiddle, Bill Powers, this was one of his favorite tunes, and then when I learned the lyrics for it, he wanted to even play it even more. It's called The Girl I Left Behind. Across the hill and over the moor and valley, such heavy thought my heart does feel since parting with my Sally. I miss no more the fine and gay, for each does but remind me how swift the hour did pass away with the girl I left behind me. Forget the night the stars were bright above me, and gently lent her silvery light when she first vowed she'd love me. But now I'm bound for Brighton's camp, kind heaven favor find me, and bring me safely back again, the girl I left behind me. No more the dove become a ranger, and the crashing wave will cease to roar, and y'all should be a stranger. The vows we registered above will forever cheer and bind me in constancy to her I love, that girl I left behind me. See the day when Mars shall have refined me, so evermore I'll gladly stay with the girl I left behind me. Now that was The Girl I Left Behind, and I learned that from Bill Powers. And actually, the tune I played right after that was called Rakes of Mallow. Now, for whatever reason, he always played those two together. And usually they were played just as dance tunes, so there wasn't any vocals, so they kind of fit together. But I never changed. We never changed after that. Even when I sang the song, we always played those two together like that. So I'm going to look at my list here, get where I'm headed. Okay, now I'm going to get back into, I'm going to play a couple West Virginia tunes here, and there's a lot of talk on how to say the words and what they are. There's two tunes. It's called Hail Against the Door and Pretty Little Cat. Now those were a couple of Appalachian tunes, Pretty Little Cat and Hail Against the Barn Door. And when me and the boys get together, we play those. Those are the kind of tunes that you most time find us playing, because they really hard. They drive and they get things going. Now, along with the I've kind of blended like the New England music and the tunes that we're playing around this area, right in the same spot where I am. And I take then get down to West Virginia, you hear a lot of stuff down there, and somehow we've kind of melded some of this stuff together. The guy Ed McGee's the guy that plays banjo with me. We've been playing banjo for 20. He's been playing with me for 20 years. I play the fiddle, he plays banjo, and we've written a number of tunes that through the years, and we put them on our CDs and stuff. Now this one here, this is it's kind of I consider it a combination between music from up here and music from down there. This tune's called Spring Thaw. gonna get a little mud, alright. Take down your boots from the old metal cabinet. Take down your boots, shove your feet on in. Take down your boots from the old metal cabinet. Going out slopping in the mud again. Seeds on in. Willie says it's time to do the planting. Gotta get them in before it rains again. Head across the yard, open up the barn door. Head across the yard, walk right on in. Head across the yard, open up the barn door. Head set a horse to the plow again. From the old man cabinet, take down your boots, shove your feet on in. Take down your boots from the old man cabinet, going out slopping in the mud again. Head across the yard, open up the barn door. Head across the yard, walk right on in. Head across the yard, open up the barn door. Head to the horse with the plow again. Spring Thaw. That was actually on the, I think on the first CD we did. It was self-produced. We recorded it in somebody's basement down in Monticello right before a blizzard, and I remember the drive home from that. It was sometime in January. I think it was right around Martin Luther King Day. And it was a long ride home, and when we got home, I think we might have had a cassette. I don't even think we had a CD, but somehow we turned it into a CD, and we made our own jackets for it, and it was quite an adventure. You know, we moved into the CD world. The fiddle that I played that on was actually the first fiddle I ever had. And I must have got this fiddle probably back in, it came from Hartwick, New York. And when I got it, it didn't have any strings on it. It didn't have anything on it. It was just a fiddle with a bow, with this bow here with no hair on it. And I mentioned Bill Powers before. He's the guy that got me kind of playing. And he took it and he looked at it and he goes, I think this fiddle might have came from Hem and Howell. It's got the earmarks of a Hem and Howell fiddle. It's not an expensive fiddle, but I think it'll be a good one for you. And he kind of set it up for me, and I had it for years. Through the years, I've acquired many, many more fiddles, but I usually play this one half the time I'm playing. I usually have it cross-tuned. I know that might, you want to get into the technicalities of music, but a lot of Appalachian players cross-tuned and change the strings, and so you get different resonation from playing. Now, most of these tunes, you know, this country hasn't been around as long as a lot of other countries, and a lot of fiddle music came from Ireland and the British Isles. So I'm going to do a set of Irish tunes now, and I'm going to do those in standard tuning for those of you who are keeping track. And I'm sure you can, if you start listening to this, you can always hear there's the same notes and just different patterns and stuff, but you can tell where it all comes from. Irish tunes. I guess a couple jigs. The Road to Liston-Varna, which I guess I've been told it was a jig. It might have been a slip jig. The timing's a little different than the straight jig. The swallowtail jig was a jig. And you know, a lot of the West Virginia tunes, you know, there were Irish fiddlers that settled in the Virginias and Kentucky and Ohio and down there in the Carolinas, and they brought with them what they had. But you know, I guess when it wasn't so strict, they weren't following any certain parameters. People would play what they played, and then they would learn from their father, and he would learn from his father. And if you were the fiddler, you were a pretty popular guy before the advent of radios and televisions. You were the entertainment. So it was always, and I've always had a fascination with that. When I was just a wee lad, I would go to square dances where Bill Powers was fiddling and calling, and he'd have maybe a full band, or maybe it would just be him fiddling and calling. People grew to expect that if Bill Powers was playing, you would go there and you would have a square dance. So, and I grew up with that, and at times when you're a teenager, you might think that might not be the thing to be doing, but I'm glad it stuck, and I'm glad I could carry on a little bit of what he did. And once again, changing fiddles here. And one question I'm always asked is, what's the difference between a violin and a fiddle? And I always just kind of say it's how you play it, more or less. I mean, on this fiddle, the bridge is a little flatter and the fingerboard's a little flatter, so I can play more than one string at a time. Here's a couple tunes that I call, or we call, I believe they're more a little archaic sounding, and they sound really nice on cross tunes. One is called Betty Lycan, and the other one is Ducks on the Pond. Okay, that was Ducks on the Pond. I think that came from the fiddling of Henry Reed. That's, I think, the version that we learned. And then the one before that was Betty Likens. And to me, they have that eerie quality. And, especially when if you were down, we used to go to, well, not used to, but this year we won't be going, but every year we go to the Appalachian Old Time String Band Festival. And if you can imagine, you got like 1,000 of me there, 1,000 people like me, and then 1,000 banjo players and 1,000 guitar players. Maybe only 500 bass players, because there's usually about 3,500 people there. Most of them are musicians, and they come from all over the country. So I guess with social distancing this year, we won't be doing that. But we've made so many friends down there, and we've played so much music that it's amazing. And I've tried to bring it back up here, and I bring down our music down there, and it's a great time. I'll play another tune that Bill Powers and I played all the time, and this one, I'm sure everybody will recognize this one. It's a familiar tune. I'm going to play it in D. Bill always played it in G for some reason or other, but and it's not that hard to play in G, just move your finger over, but I've always played it in D. Called the Arkansas Traveler. Now, I guess I got a couple more. I'm looking at my clock. I had to bring a clock down, set it on the wall, because there's actually no clocks in this building. This building was built before time. But this is an interesting tune here. It's another tune that Bill played pretty regular. It's called Red Wing. And there was a time when sometimes he would sing lyrics to it, and it always referred to a little Indian maid. But then I heard Woody Guthrie play it once, and his lyrics pertained to the Union maid when unions were starting to get big. So it was interesting switching things, how music transcends areas and times and genres. It just goes on. clock says I have one more for you, and I don't know if we're going to get through it or not. This is a tune that Eddie and I wrote, and I forget what year it is, but I think we wrote this about 6:30 in the morning after staying up all night long, after hearing a lot of great music in West Virginia, at Cliff Top. It's a tune called Throwdown. Gonna take down my rifle, gonna take down my bow, gonna head out tonight, we're gonna find my Uncle Joe. Gonna take down my rifle, gonna take down my bow, gonna head out tonight, we're gonna find my Uncle Joe. Gonna take down my rifle, gonna take down my knife, gonna climb down off this mountain, gonna find me a wife. Gonna take down my rifle, gonna take down my knife, gonna climb down off this mountain, gonna find me a wife. I'm gonna throw down my hand, gonna throw down all the things that make me a man. Gonna throw down my rifle, gonna throw down my hand, gonna throw down all the things that make me a man. Gonna take down my fiddle, I'm gonna take down my bow, I'm gonna play you all a tune that I think you all should know. I'm gonna take down my fiddle, I'm gonna take down my bow, I'm gonna play you all a tune that I think you all should know. Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure to play for you folks. My pleasure.
Thank you so much, Marvin. We really appreciate all your performance tonight. It was great. I really enjoyed it. Up on the screen now is Marvin's tip jar if anybody wanted to throw some money his way. And I hope that everybody will tune in next week for Lauren Daniels, a jazz pianist, on July 2nd. And then the following week, we have Whispering Tree on July 9th, which is a duo vocal group. We've had them at the coffee house before. So we hope to see you then. Feel free to hang out. We're going to unmute you, or you all can unmute yourself in a minute, and we can hang out and chat a little bit with Marvin if he has a couple minutes, if you have any questions or anybody wants to talk about anything. So thank you again, Marvin. We really appreciate your performance.